not only had my strength gone, but I was losing mobility as well. And it has really started to come back.
It's a sure thing. If you come, you work, you're going to see results.
Awesome. Well, welcome, Barb and Mike, and it's good to have you here. And just want to talk a little bit more here about your story and where you've been at your fitness journey and health journey, and we'll go from there. Does that sound good?
It does.
Okay. So now tell me a little bit about your background with, prior to NorthStar, what you had typically done for exercise, where you were fitness-wise.
Well, through the years, I've always exercised, always been active. When I was very young, played volleyball and softball, and I ran on and off through the years. Kayaking, biking, hiking, things like that. Never really went to the gym much at all until maybe midlife, and then I joined the Y and a few curves and a few other, mostly curves and the Y. And since COVID, fell out of the going to the Y, and we continued to walk a lot. So I was always getting good, and I walk at a fast pace, so I was getting good cardio. But I wasn't doing anything for my upper body at all, no strength training at all. And I, was a gradual period of time, but I noticed, like, I don't have the strength I used to have. And I also felt like, even though all was well in my life, I felt I wasn't really motivated to make any changes. So
It became harder to find the motivation or to.
I guess it's kind of that, and because I'm aging, as we all are, I kind of felt like, well, maybe this is just the way it's going to be. And I nothing changed too much body composition wise. I mean, that I could see, but I could feel I wasn't where I could be. And
So what does that mean? Like you had lower energy, or you had.
Yes, I'd say lower energy. I didn't pay attention to my eating, my habits. Always feeling like, oh, I'll walk an extra mile, or to burn it off or something like that. So
When you started looking, or you came across NorthStar, did you have certain expectations you were looking for? Or you're just more curious, or what were kind of what was speaking to you at that point? What you needed?
Well, I had two neighbors who told me about NorthStar, and both were very excited about the program and what it had done for them, and how happy and how satisfied and happy they were. And so that piqued my interest. I happened to see something on Facebook and about NorthStar, and where I could come and try it and have a free consultation. And so I thought, what do I have to lose? Let's see what that's all about. And I think at this point in my life, I needed someone to coach me and tell me why, or not tell me why, but suggest why I should be doing these exercises and how they're going to benefit me in the long run. And that's what I really like. We have two coaches, Emma and Quinn, and both are very interested in the both of us, and they know what our goals are, and they're helping us achieve our goals. And I look forward to coming in. I don't want to miss a day.
It's not like an obligation, like a have to, but it's more that you're almost excited to come in.
I'm excited to come in, and I will.
It's a good habit.
It's a really good habit. Yeah. Yes, I don't want to miss a day.
Yeah. Now, in that process, first it started out with your interest, and then Mike, you were in a different spot.
I was in a totally different spot. I'd always been active. I was in the military, and of course, physical training was a big thing in the military. And then after I had retired, I stayed active. I've always been a long distance runner, and I did a lot of running. Then I started developing knee problems, had to have some surgeries, and I've had both knees replaced. I also,
So did you have to hang up the cleats, so to say?
yes, but walking, I could still walk. I still walk every day, probably a couple miles every day. But walking just does not cut it. I do know that strength training is truly, I guess, the go-to for uh, burning the calories and sustaining the burning, I guess. Whereas I always, with my running and the distances I would go, I think I pretty much kept things under control. But as I aged, I started putting weight on as well. So
It's quite a different feel. I used to be a runner myself,
okay.
and so you think you get that kind of runner enjoyment of going out and the fresh air, and that's great. But it's really a different feeling. How would you describe that difference between like running or walking versus that resistance training?
I don't know that I can really put it any better than this. And I don't know how many people are familiar with a park course. Are you, where you run or walk fast between exercise stations? At one point in my military career, I was in a very lengthy school, a 3-month school, and there was a park course at this particular installation. I used to just run it, not stop at any of the stations. But on this particular 3-month stint, I thought, well, I'm going to start doing the exercises as well. And it was almost after about a month of doing that, it was like truly like an addiction. If I missed a day, kind of like Barb was saying, she really looks forward to coming. I, I did something wasn't right. So coming in to do the strength training is, to me, similar to that was to me. I know that doesn't necessarily.
It kind of sticks with you.
It does, yeah.
It's almost helps not only you mentioned about burning calories, but releasing those endorphins, helping just feel better overall.
Yeah, it really does. And for me, be, because of the lack of activity, and although I did the walking, we still bike, we do kayak. Every once in a while, I get out on the golf course, but my mobility not only had my strength gone, but I was losing mobility as well. And it has really started to come back. So from a quality of life standpoint, I can't say enough about this program for me.
Awesome, awesome. So now, what would you say NorthStar has helped you the most with?
I, I physically, I'm stronger, and I'm just stronger. Upper body, lower body. I can crouch down or squat down to pick something up or do whatever I'm going to do down on the floor. And I don't pop back up, but I'm quicker at coming back up. And I have I have more strength in my legs and just more flexibility. And I will say there's like a mental / emotional piece to it as well. I just feel more confident, and I think I stand a little taller, and I just feel better about, it wasn't feeling bad. I didn't think I was feeling bad about myself, but I feel all over good. It sounds kind of silly, but it's the truth. I've really noticed a difference in my affect since I started working out.
So one of the things that people often tell us is that a lot of times they kind of a brain fog, or just there's some mental unclarity
Uh-huh.
that eventually kind of like guys like that. Have you noticed that?
Yes. I didn't think about that, but I feel that's happened to me as well. Maybe I can say it this way. Maybe I've been distracted at home with getting things done, and I'll flit from one room to another. I'll carry something to the laundry room, and then I'll see something that needs to be done in the laundry room, and then I'll go on task there, and then I'll realize that I have to take something to the living room, and it seems like I spin my wheels a lot, accomplishing no projects completely, finishing a project, a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And that has changed. I can stay more on task, um, and feel more accomplished at the end of the day. Plus, I'm a little bit more driven to not just sit down at dinner time and then turn on television and sit the rest of the night until bed. I will now get up off of the couch and maybe do a couple more things before it's time to retire. So that's really an improvement, because I think we kind of got into a routine where we were just collapse at the end of the day, and now we have more energy.
It's kind of amazing. I mean, you're almost creating energy, creating that drive that wasn't been there. What about you, Mike? In your everyday life, what have you found, a benefit from NorthStar?
The biggest thing is just more flexibility and mobility. I would never be able to get up, probably for the past 3 or 4 years, to just stand up out of a chair. Um, I still use my hands, but it's there. Depending on the type of chair, I can stand up now, which is like, wow, this I didn't realize how degraded I had become. So it's an awareness that way, but uh, the level of energy is probably a very big thing as well. I just
It's funny because as you're sharing with me, we can see that in you. From the time you started versus now, we can see that spryness and that, that pop up and go. So,
it's not like when I was 40.
yeah. Yeah. Well, what about the program has met or exceeded your expectations?
I I have never had a personal trainer. It's always been, group sports and things like that, and never really one on one. And even though we work out together, I really feel with the work that Quinn and Emma are giving us, it is more one on one. And
Because it's personalized
it
to
is.
what your needs are. It's not just a program, but it's what you.
So I just wasn't sure what to expect, but I really enjoy that aspect of it, because it kind of it keeps you honest, so to speak. um,
Well, from a guy's point of view, it can be pretty humbling. I mean, someone who's been fit and active like you for some people it might be a little bit hard to you know, allow someone to assist them.
sure.
What would you say to a similar an individual like that's kind of stuck in that, like they don't, even if they do know they need something, they kind of just.
I'd say swallow your pride, because it's an investment in your life. It and it's going to affect the quality of your life for the rest of your life. So that's what I guess I can say about that. And heck, it's both Quinn and Emma, and we worked with Trevor when Quinn was out getting married. But all of the trainers we have worked with are just great. They're quality people, and so they help you all the way through the process.
What about you, Barb? What from your standpoint has program met or exceeded your expectations?
I think the the interest that they take in our well-being, um, if they're so knowledgeable, they explain why we're doing what we're doing. They change it up periodically so we don't become I won't say bored, but they change it up so it makes it a little bit more interesting for us to work different. Maybe you're working the same area of the body, but you're doing an entirely different exercise. So I like that. Um, they always have time for us, even after a session or during a session. Quinn often, if I have questions, will stop and explain exactly the machine, as an example, what I'm supposed to be doing and what it's going to help. I'll say this, it just occurred to me when Mike was talking. I was a little fearful of that machine. And maybe this is kind of an aging thing too, but I've enjoyed good health all these years, and because it looked a little daunting and intimidating to me, and I didn't want to push too hard because I was afraid I'd hurt myself. They know what they're doing. The machine is designed in such a way that if you do it correctly, it's all good. It's just that I had to learn to trust myself, and I got that from Quinn and Emma encouraging me. Yes, you can, and so it's, even though it's, to be honest, not my most favorite thing that I do here, I know it works, and I'm comfortable with it now. But I'm most impressed with how friendly everyone is, how welcoming they are, and it's truly, I get the feeling that everyone is interested in seeing us succeed.
Very good. So, if someone were on the fence, with NorthStar, maybe they were doubting if they could be successful, like this nervous about whether it be the machine or can they do this, or maybe past failures on different things they've tried, whatever the case might be. What would you say to them as kind of a word of encouragement for them?
I guess from my perspective is jump over that fence. if you have doubts, the only way you're going to find out whether or not this program would be for you is to try it. So go for it. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. And so, I mean, I wasn't necessarily interested personally in coming in. Barb was. And then when she told me about the program after her assessment, I went, oh, well, maybe that would work for me. I tend to think that I used to be a self-motivated individual, but over the years with the injuries, the surgeries, and so on and so forth, I've kind of slowed down a little bit. But once I came, uh, it's
amazing how much injuries and past things can hold us back.
and in fact that the trainers here are always cognizant of, for me, I'm sure it's for everyone that comes and works, what I have gone through in the past with the different surgeries and injuries, and how are things going today? Is this exercise bothering you, etc. So yeah, it's don't allow a past injury or surgery to stop you, because there are workarounds with it. And we've changed exercises for me based on the injuries I've had. So it's great. I can't say enough. Good.
What about you, Barb?
I'd say give it a try. Come in and meet with you and do an initial consultation, and you'll get a very good feel for what a membership is going to be like. I made the decision that I wasn't going to look at the cost of it. I was going to look at this as an investment, and an investment that we're getting returns on already. It's a sure thing. If you come, you work, you're going to see results. And because we have appointments, we have to keep our appointments. Even if we're doing something else when we feel like, oh, although this doesn't happen to me because I want to be here. It would be easy if I was going to go to the Y or something on a day, and then something came up, just to skip it. But you keep us accountable in a good way, and that's what I personally needed. And I think maybe other people my age might kind of feel that way too. Like,
and I remember you were traveling.
Yes,
You were traveling a lot, and we had to navigate the waters a little bit with schedule wise, but
That's what I was going to say. It's even though it's on a schedule, it doesn't impinge upon our personal lives. If we want to go travel, there are workarounds on that as well.
And when we were gone for a couple of weeks, Quinn sent us with exercises, and which we, for the most part, did.
One of us did them more than the other.
I'll just say the EAT program too has been, we've just finished, we have 2 more weeks that'll happen later, but we just finished with Quinn and the EAT program. And because of it, have gained more interest in my diet. And even though some of the things that he taught were pretty basic and that I've learned through the years, it was a good refresher for me. And there were some interesting things that I read in the literature that we got, a different way of looking at how we eat and what we put in our bodies. And I feel just more interested in eating better. And now I know the importance of protein. I've always heard it's good, but I think I have a better understanding of why when we're doing this program, we really need to get that protein in there to fuel us. And it makes a difference. I'll just say this, all these thoughts are coming to my head, but one day I came in and I was, this is before we started the EAT program, and I don't think I had much to eat that morning. I probably didn't have enough water. I had too much coffee, and I just developed a little bit of a headache. And Quinn said, well, what did you eat today? And I said, well, not much. How much water did you drink? Well, not much. Did you have coffee this morning? Yeah, I had 2 or 3 cups. Well, then he said, you might want to modify, next time, be sure you get some water in your system and get some good so he explained that to me, and that made me, now I'm more cognizant of that before I come in.
That's great. That's great. Can you also share your thoughts on that introductory session? Kind of what your experience was. The reason I ask is, if you don't know what to expect, you might be worried about pressure sales or just getting hurt or, doing something I don't know what I'm doing. Can you just maybe share a little bit on your experience with that introductory session?
It was certainly non-threatening. It was very comfortable. I was introduced to a few other members as we were walking through to our suite. That's another thing. I like the private suites, especially if you're a person that doesn't want to be exercising, and for whatever the reason is, in front of other people. That's really a nice, and I think very good aspect of this program.
And you did some new exercises.
I did.
Right? And you worked some areas that you hadn't worked before.
Yes, and I've done a lot of exercising through the years, and I still today they'll present something that I've never done before. That first time, I can't remember specifics about it, but I know I was excited after I went through everything and saw what the format was. And then when we spoke, you just gave me the facts and explained how the program would work. I didn't feel pressure at all. You let me, not you let me, but after I mentioned Mike, you told me that we could have a work together with the same trainer, And so that made it a little bit more appealing for me because I thought it would be something he'd be interested in, and I don't know if that answers your question, but I just felt I was very excited, and I probably would have joined even if Mike wouldn't have joined with me, because I was at the point in my life when I knew this is what I wanted. It just felt right. It didn't feel like going to the Y and maybe hiring a trainer there. This is what I needed. It's small, it's friendly, so
It's
much
personal.
more personal, and just even trainers that I have never worked with know my name and greet me. So I don't want to say it's like a family, but it's just a great feel when you get here.
I wasn't here obviously for Barb's first session, but I can say when she came home, she was really excited about it, and she told me that I would probably like it, and that's really the reason I came in for an assessment. And same thing. It just was a professional atmosphere, and
We had to make some modifications for that shoulder, I remember.
correct. Yep. And no high pressure. It was like, okay, if you want to join. If you don't, there's the door.
Well.
So, I mean,
From a guy's perspective.
yeah.
Well, this has been great. I really appreciate you sharing your story with us today. And
Sure.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Our pleasure.
Yeah.